So this is going to be my first ranked game of the new season. Let's see what rank I can get. So I've really enjoyed making content for StarCraft, and I want to keep making content for StarCraft. But I also want to keep playing StarCraft, and the kind of content I make is really time consuming. I spend days planning it, days working on it, days editing it, and then I end up just throwing it all away and starting again because I didn't like it. Now, I've been close to GrandMaster for so long. I've been close to GrandMaster for years. I always sort of reach the bottom of Contender League, and then I just run out of time and I never actually make that big push. I now have time to push for GrandMaster, and I'm going to go for it. But I want to keep making content. So I need to come up with a way where I can play StarCraft at a high level and make videos that are good and interesting and fun to watch. And I think I have an idea. I started playing StarCraft 2 in the beta. Pretty much as soon as I got my key, which was about halfway through the closed beta, is when I started playing. And I'd never played Brood War before, I'd never played a real-time strategy game competitively before, so I placed into Copper League, which is so low it doesn't exist now. But I trained hard, I was really keen in the beginning, and I trained very hard, and I made it to High Diamond by the end of the first season after release. And by second season I'd made it to Masters. Now, I kept going sort of through a fluctuation of training really hard and getting really high, and then not playing for a period of time and falling back down. And it's carried on all throughout Wings of Liberty. By the end of Wings of Liberty I switched to Terran, because I didn't like the way Protoss was looking in Heart of the Swarm. I found Terran to be a lot harder than Protoss, but also a lot more rewarding. It took me a while to get sort of securely in Masters as a Terran player in Heart of the Swarm, but I got there by the end of it. And then in Legacy of the Void I've been playing pretty seriously, and I've been pretty much tier 1 since the tier system came out. I kind of regularly hit the bottom of GrandMaster. I've never made it into GrandMaster, but I will hit GrandMaster players, and I've beaten a few, and I always make it to sort of that boundary. But I've never done that big push, that big commitment to put in the time needed to actually break into GrandMaster. So I decided at the beginning of the year that 2017 was going to be the year that I get GrandMaster in StarCraft. I also decided that March is going to be a month I dedicate specifically to StarCraft. I still have a day job, so I can't do it full time, but I'm going to try and aim for a minimum of 4 hours every day playing StarCraft. Essentially, I want to go for 30 hours a week of StarCraft, which is a lot of StarCraft. I'm saying StarCraft a lot. Why am I doing this? Firstly, I want to get GrandMaster. Best way to do that is just to go for it full time as hard as you can. Secondly, I've been a competitive gamer since I was 13. I think I started playing Counter-Strike 1.6 and I was doing that for 10 years until StarCraft 2 came out, and then I focused on StarCraft 2. I love competitive gaming. I've always wanted to be a pro gamer, but I never thought it the safest option to go for, especially as someone from the UK where there's no real competitive scene. But I still want to know what it's like. I want to know what it would be like to wake up every day with the only goal to get as best as you can at that game. So I'm going to give it a go, see what it's like. I might hate it. We'll find out. Anyway, let's get into some StarCraft. Now, I wanted to go through my placement match, but I'm not a caster or a commentator, so I didn't just want to talk over it whilst watching it, because I don't think that would be very good. So instead, I'm just going to do sort of a summary of it, go over everything that happened in very brief detail. Now, it was against the Zerg. He started in the bottom right, I started in the top left. Now, my game plan here was to go for early Reaper Hellion whilst taking an expansion, get Banshees Hellion out, get map control, pressure the Zerg whilst taking a third, go up to 8 barracks, double upgrades, and then do a big mid or late game push. With the first Reaper you get out, you really want to try and get, if you can, drone kills, but if not, you want to keep pressuring the Zerglings. The more Zerglings you kill, the more he has to make, and that's less drones he will have. But I really screwed up my Reaper micro, did too much damage to myself with a sort of suicide grenade, and I had to pull back with it. Because of that, I couldn't really deny his third. I got my Hellions out, but nothing really happened with them. In fact, he even made a whole load of Zerglings and surrounded my Hellions, which forced me to make 2 more that I didn't want to make. He also scouted my Banshee. So instead of making 2 and continue with Cloak, I cancelled Cloak. The idea here is that he will make a lot of Spore Crawlers to try and defend against the Banshee that you're not even really committing to anymore. He tried to do some counter harassment, but I handled it pretty well. I defended it, took my third base, and didn't let him get many SCV kills. So my 1-1 kicked in and I went to go for a push. Now as Terran, you want to really snowball the Zerg. You want to take really good engagements and be more cost efficient and generally just snowball from there. But this guy played really well. He kept baiting up my Widow Mines. I unburrowed them and reburrowed them, but he kept pulling his Banelings back. And once all my Widow Mines were done, he just rolled his Banelings over me and he sort of took the fight. It was still quite equal, but at this point he had the economic advantage and my attack did nothing. In TVC, if you're in a position where you think the Zerg's ahead because you didn't take a cost-efficient fight, you have to resort to dropping. So I did a drop in the 5th base location, managed to snipe that, then dropped in the main, whilst I was pushing at the front. The fight at the front really didn't go so well. He got a really good surround, I just got overwhelmed. I still managed to keep a decent supply count, and I managed to do damage with my drop, but it didn't go as well as I wanted. I did a second drop, got some drone kills. Again, it wasn't really enough to sort of bring me back. I still had a decent supply, but my multitasking just wasn't up to task. And as I walked through the middle of the map, he jumped on me, caught me out of position. My Thors were stuck in my base, everything was clumped up and not in the correct position, and I just got overwhelmed after that. And that was GG. So I got placed into Rank 1 Masters again, no real surprise there, it's where I finished last season. I'm a little bit upset about my placement game, because I could have played a lot better. It was quite an even game, I think I could have beat him, but I'm really out of form right now, and that's worrying. I got an MMR I think of 5,277, which is about 130 away from GrandMaster. Now it might not sound like a lot, but that is a lot at this level. Also, I think I'm probably going to lose MMR tomorrow when I actually start playing. I didn't feel as good as I was when I actually got to that MMR originally. This is the end of episode 0. I'm calling it episode 0 because the fun doesn't really start tomorrow. That's when I start my 4 to 8 hours of StarCraft each day. It's going to be a really busy month. I'm looking forward to it. Now, I need an outro shot to lay over some stats and numbers on, so how about some footage of some British weather?